What's going on, Flyers fans, and welcome back to the Clear the Ice, a Flyers post-game show here on the Instagram Sports Network. Your boy, Matty B, on the call in for Mike Lauro tonight as we had to do a scheduling flip at the last minute. Flyers all over the Vancouver Canucks tonight, 5-1 down there at the arena. They'd be rebuilding Vancouver Canucks, pulled off the Quinn Hughes trade a few days ago. Got a lot of good players in return, but they might have already sort of ran up the white flag as they were no match for the Flyers tonight. 5-1 with about it is now gone. Now it's 5-2. Sorry, 5-2 final. I came on the air with about 20 seconds remaining, so I got how'd they get a last second goal? 5-2 is your final as the Flyers hold off for the win. Now they've moved to 18 wins on the season. Now it's time to sort of gear up for a back-to-back. I guess Urson tomorrow. Well, we'll see. I don't know if that's the right thing to do. I say go back-to-back with Vladar tomorrow. You know what? You got like 4 days off. Go with Vladar. Let's try to go into Christmas on a positive note. But the Flyers handled their business tonight, 5-2. It was interesting. Matthew Michkov gets the goal. He got a goal tonight, the empty netter at 18:49, but then it was one up by Drew O'Connor, who did score at the 18-second remaining in the game mark to make it 5-2, and that was what your final was tonight. Flyers with the convincing win over a given up squad of Vancouver. I don't know, but we talked a little bit about it on my show earlier about the drama or the fabricated drama or the situation involving Matt B. Michkov with the Flyers right now. And to see him get on the score sheet, or he got a goal tonight. Did he get any other points? Not seeing any other points there, but gets on the score sheet with the empty netter at the end of the game, his ninth. So it's a positive thing you want to see from him. For the Flyers tonight, their healthy scratches were Nick Delorier, Garnet Hathaway, and Noah Jolson, however you say that name. For Vancouver, their healthy scratches, P.O. Johnson and Niels Hoglander, as they are wrapping up a big-time road trip before they finish up their holidays as well. In net, as mentioned, Dan Vladar, a solid effort tonight for the Flyers. He gets the win. Vladar faced 24 shots, made 22 saves, gives up the goal right there at the end. Finishes with a .917 goals against average, or save percentage, not goals against average. For the Canucks, they went ahead with Demko. He faced 38 shots, gave up 34, saved 34, did not give up 34 goals, finishes with a .895 save percentage on the night. And, so listen, 18 wins. We're getting ready to wrap up sort of the first unofficial first half holiday break of the season. Got a wonky schedule coming up, a big, heavy January, followed up by a very light February due to the Olympics. So you got to get these points, and it was good to see a couple things tonight from me, especially, obviously, the goaltending. No secret where I come out on the goaltending coin. I don't believe Dan Vladar or, obviously, Sam Ersson is the long-term fix. Neither one of those goalies are going to be here to help hoist a Stanley Cup. But it's good to see Vladar, who is your number one. I mean, I don't think we're really debating that anymore. But he played like a number one tonight, and the Flyers did really good for him in front of him tonight. It's been shaky to say the least. Again, Vladar hurt, banged up. You went back with Ersson on back-to-back nights in Buffalo and then at the Garden on Saturday. He's not the answer. But Vladar was able to get back in the net tonight. Of course, what did Danny B call it? He had a boo-boo. That was his injury. So obviously not a long-term thing, but back in the net tonight for the Flyers, and he looked stout. Ricky Deal says, "Go Flyers." Go Flyers indeed, Ricky Deal, as they get their 18th win of the night down there at the arena. And for those of you that are wondering, this is your schedule here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Tomorrow, Birds Blast, Pittsburgh Sports Tonight, the props, locks, and parlay, and then the Flyers Blackhawks clear the ice as Flyers are going back-to-back into the holiday break. There's the Blackhawks thing, and then here's your clear the ice graphic. I will not be on the call tomorrow. I'm doing it tonight. We flipped, so Mike will be here tomorrow night. As you'll see Mike a couple times tomorrow doing locks, props, and parlays, and then he's coming back late night. We got a late night game tomorrow, 8 o'clock start time here in the Delaware Valley. Get used to that. because when the Flyers come out of the holiday break, that's when it's going to get fun. This is when the time of the year that when you do a post-game show, you really love. The 1 o'clock in the morning post-game shows, the 2:30 in the morning post-game shows. Thankfully, it's not too bad. They'll be going to Seattle and then off to Western Canada to play the Flames, Canucks, and the Edmonton Oilers. So not too bad. That'll take us through the New Year's holiday, but we'll be here. One of us will. More than likely be me, but we'll be here to bring you all that coverage. So let's get into this game tonight. The Flyers, after a scoreless first period, in which the Flyers were all over the Canucks, 14-5 when shots on goal, could not get one by Demko. They really kind of peppered him all night. There was a lot of pressure on him, could not find the back of the net. So we head into the first period intermission, scoreless, but coming right out of that at around the halfway point of the second period, Nikita, thank God I'm not in the press box, Gurbankin gets his second goal of the year. Emil Andre and Abus is the assist. Gurbankin, who's kind of turned into this year's, or to kind of turn into Rick Tockett's Morgan Frost. I don't think they get along too well because it seems like every chance Tocchet has to sit him, he does. And I know we hear, well, we have a bigger lineup versus a smaller lineup, more physical lineup versus a speed lineup. Listen, give the kid an opportunity to play. I don't need to see Nick Deslauriers on the ice. I don't. I really don't. He doesn't bring anything to the game other than fighting. I'd rather see this kid get the opportunity on a night-to-night basis. So he gets the opportunity tonight, and he cashes in on his second goal of the season to give the Flyers the 1-0 lead. And that is all the scoring in the second period, as the Flyers would barely outshoot the Canucks 14-12 as Vancouver put up a little bit more of a fight in that second period. Coming out, though, in the third, Grunderson, his fourth from Gurbankin and Abus at the 5:58 mark to give the Flyers a 2-0 lead and a very pretty goal. It's sort of kind of, and in my mind, even though we were kind of going back and forth with the shots, the scoring opportunities weren't really prevalent for Vancouver up to this point. And when Grunderson scored that goal, to me, that was it. I didn't think that Vancouver would have enough at that part of the game to battle back, and I was right. Flyers would tack on another one at the 7:49 mark. The Christian Dvorak, his eighth from Zegras and Konechny. Zegras and Konechny both now with 21 assists to give the Flyers a 3-0 lead. And that was obviously, you had to really feel really good, but the Canucks would make it somewhat interesting at the 13:05 mark. Max Sashin, his eighth from Garland and Myers, cuts it to 3-1. And then Owen, where have you gone? Tippett, subject of a lot of trade rumors, his 11th at the 15:35 mark to give the Flyers a little bit of insurance to make it 4-1. And then at the 18:49 mark, Mitch Koff with the empty net at his ninth from Cates. And then Drew O'Connor somehow finds his way onto the score sheet at the 19:42 mark. Give up a goal with 22 seconds left. It's not good. His eighth, but that is it as the Flyers pulled away on this one to win 5-2. The Flyers outshot the Canucks 11-8 in that third period, so they outshot them for the game, finishing 39 shots to Vancouver's 25. The Flyers were 0 for 1 on the power play. Vancouver was 0 for 2. Flyers gave the puck away 12 times, took it away once, and they blocked 12 shots. So, positive win. You know, you can start saying these games are the games the Flyers need to win, or these are the games that the Flyers have to win, or they should win against these types of teams. And it's good to talk about that. It's good that the Flyers have sort of, you know, elevated themselves up a notch a little bit on the NHL. Before it was, you know, we just got to go out there and pray for the best. Now we're actually starting to see a little bit of a difference between certain teams and the Flyers. Flyers were a better team. You know, the Canucks, for obvious reasons, are looking to retool, perhaps, regroup for the future. And the Flyers are on their way up. And with all the drama, or I should say all the constructed drama around the Flyers these days with Mitchkov, constructed by the fan base, trying to protect him, trying to protect his ego, trying to protect so he doesn't want to leave. So I don't understand that at all. But it's good to see Mitchkov get a goal. He needs to get going. Listen, there's no secret there. we're still a long way away from being where we got to be. We don't have a number one defenseman. We don't have a number one centerman. I'm still uneasy about the goaltending. Michkov is going to go a long way in getting the Flyers where they need to be. And bottom line is he's got to be better. He's got to be a better pro. I know I hear that he's coachable, and I hear that he listens, and I hear that he doesn't have an ego. I don't necessarily believe that, because I followed Michkov after his draft day. I followed him through his time in the KHL and the MHL. He had problems there with his coaches. Now, he was on some bad hockey teams, but there were many opportunities, or many sort of times where he was benched for conduct. He had an ego issue. A lot of that was coming out of Russia. We didn't want to listen to it then, or we didn't care to listen to it then, but there was a little concern about that. I think you guys remember that talk a few years back. And now he comes in, has a very good rookie season, but then follows that up with deciding to take 4 months off in the offseason and not skate, and then expect to just sort of pick it up. Doesn't work like that. You got to be better. But holistically, the Flyers are better. And holistically, right now, with 18 wins, it's a good start to the season. We got one more to go against Chicago. Finish that one up. Head into the holiday break. Head out to Western Canada. Bear down for what January is going to bring. And then just take this thing one game at a time. And they're sitting in a really good spot in their own division. They're sitting in a great spot in their conference. And it's good to see certain names pop up on that score sheet. Gurbankin, again, spends a lot of time sitting. And the justification is always, well, we're going with a bigger lineup. We're going with a heavier lineup. Listen, he's got to play. He's a younger player. He's got to play. So get him in the lineup. I don't care about Nick Laurier. He doesn't bring anything. But the Flyers win tonight, 5-2. We'll set things up for tomorrow against the Chicago Blackhawks. We got an 8 o'clock puck drop out there in Chicago, or 8:30. It's like 8:30. So we're going to have a late one tomorrow night, but we'll be back for the post game on that one. And then we'll take you through the holidays, and we'll come out of the holidays for a big week starting on Sunday in Seattle against the Kraken as we go out to the Pacific Northwest and to Western Canada on that annual New Year's Eve Western Canadian trip, which for those of us who were born in my generation, really one of the best times of the year. Be able to sit up 1 o'clock in the morning and watch the Flyers play Wayne Gretzky and the Oilers. It just doesn't get any better than that. And for those of you that don't know, you just don't know. And I can't tell you. But make sure you're tuned in to all the programming here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, all the static shows. And, of course, Sunday, we got you covered Eagles-Bills postgame. We got you covered tomorrow night with the Locks, Props, and Parlay. Sundays with the AM Philly Sports Show. The new, as I mentioned earlier, the Philly Friday Frenzy with Big Al's of Fury. All of our Pittsburgh programming earlier tonight. You had the Pittsburgh Sports tonight. And then here's the boys with their Steel City Sunday pre- and post-game show. We'll be back next week. They had a massive scheduling issue yesterday, and they could not bring you entertainment, but they'll be back on Sunday. Me and Kyle Quinn, typically Thursdays at 7, which that's a lie. We never do it at 7. But typically on Thursdays we do it, but we're not doing it on Thursday this week. We're trying to get it in tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that one. The Gridiron Weekly, Pittsburgh Sports Desk. I mean, we just come at you from all different angles here, and of course all the other post-game entertainment we do, to include Happy Valley Huddle, which will be on Saturday for the final time this year, Penn State Clemson in the Pinstripe Bowl. So make sure you're tuned in to all the happenings on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Until we talk again on the final word tomorrow, I will have you again on postgame. I think I have you Sunday night in Seattle for Flyers Kraken. But I'll see you guys tomorrow in the final word and all the other stuff that's happening. Make sure you keep tuned in. Flyers 5-2 winners. And in the immortal words of Mr. Gene Hart, good night and good hockey.